Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvesesa Sunyavare Pasatare Sararine Gauravani Pracharine Nirvesesa Sunyavare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopichana Vallava Girivaradhare Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhare Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sharing Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you. My apologies, you were a little bit high pitch. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right. So I'm trying to read through this. It's the first time I'm giving a class through a cell phone. My eyes, so let's see. We can. So if you follow this morning, class will be on Transcendental Diary from volume 4, chapter 3. And this conversation took place in Hyderabad. And Srila Prabhupada, most of you know that Srila Prabhupada is a Yukta Vairagya. That he is very smart. Using time, circumstances, and overall planning of his whole trip and whole lifetime on this planet. So where he will travel in places where he can serve Krishna better. When it's too hot, he will move to a place where it's cooler. When it got too cold, you go to a place in central cities like Hyderabad and all the places. And there are 3 harsh weather in India, apart from all the holy places, is scorching heat, cold, and monsoon. Rainy season, a lot of rain. And there's floods and all take place in Mayapur. Up to here, the water flood the whole Mayapur Dham. It's not regularly, but after a few years. So Srila Prabhupada always plan, and Maharaj always keep a track of traveling, of keeping track. Prabhupada can move for him to have a like I say, to better serve the Lord. It must be too inconvenient for Srila Prabhupada because of the weather. And you know his Srila Prabhupada, if you want to calculate Srila Prabhupada's age, Srila Prabhupada, at that age, people, you'll find them in a corner of streets drinking and getting high and jolly. But Srila Prabhupada, for his age, to travel places, and then and he was very, very smart in that. So here's Srila Prabhupada in Hyderabad. This took place in August 21st, 1976, and it's a part 2. Having settled the course of action to be taken against Blitz, Srila Prabhupada turned to Pradyumna Prabhu. He asked him if he would like to personally, typing error, he would like to personally worship the Salagram Sila given by Sampat Kumar, which was still sitting on his desk. He obviously had changed his mind about sending the Lord to the Bombay temple. Pradyumna was very readily agreed. Okay. And so Prabhupada gave him some simple instruction. So Srila Prabhupada says, so we can carry, and every morning just put in a Singhasan, and tulsi and water and flour and little fruit. That's all. Then turning to rest of us, he said, he has got the tendency to worship, referring to Pradyumna Prabhu. He is a Pandit, Gargamuni added. Pandit, Srila Prabhupada said. Prabhupada smiled, calling Pradyumna by his popular Sobrik. Sobrik means his nickname. Everybody calling by his nickname. Everybody got nickname here. I'm sure everybody got nickname. I can't tell you my nickname, so you laugh. So everybody got nickname people give. Okay. So I'll tell you later. Gargamuni mentioned that Pradyumna was also training his son, Aniruddha, and Prabhupada smilingly added, yes, his son will be great Pandit. So sure Prabhupada using his word every time. Both of them are devotees. Husband and wife, therefore, nice son is born, yatha bhijam yatha yoni. Yoni is the mother, bhijam is the father. Srila Prabhupada, digressed a little. So he a little bit changed the topic. It took a turn. Fondly recalling how his own father, following advice of his spiritual master, always traveled with Salagram Shila, hanging around his neck. Can you imagine? His neck wrapped in a linen handkerchief. Yes, so it is safe always kantha by the father, by the kantha means neck. So my father used to carry wherever he would stay, Ganga Jal Tulsi decoration. Say half an hour business, Srila Prabhupada says. My father was a great devotee, yes. You dedicated the Krishna book to him, Gopal Krishna Maharaj says. Yeah, that's true. When you want to go read Krishna book, you see Srila Prabhupada dedicated. And you will see. Let's see what Prabhupada said here. Srila Prabhupada smiled, yes, because he was a pure Vaishnava. And he wanted me to become like this. He was praying to Radharani that any saintly person would come, he would simply say, give blessing to my son so that he may become a Radharani's servant. That was my father's prayer. He never prayed that my son may become very rich. He never prayed like that. Actually, his ardent desire that his son may become a Vaishnava, and my Guru Maharaj training has put me in this position that I have admitted later on. What is that word I have given? Prabhupada find out. So Gopal Krishna Maharaj knew just what Prabhupada meant. He quoted, which was later on solidified by my eternal Father. Srila Prabhupada's eyes lit up. Read it for me. Read it. Gargamuni read Srila Prabhupada's dedication from the front of Krishna book. Quote, to my father, Gaur Mohan Dey, 1849 to 1930, that pure devotee of Krishna, who raised me as a Krishna conscious child from the beginning of my life. In my boyhood ages, he instructed me how to play the mirdanga. He gave me Radha Krishna Vigraha to worship, and he gave me Jagannath Rath to duly observe the festival as my childhood play. He was kind to me, and I imbibed from him the ideas later on solidified by my spiritual master, the Eternal Father. As we express our appreciation, unquote, appreciation, Srila Prabhupada features softened with natural humility and affection. That is fact. I got a good father and good spiritual master. So let's reflect a little bit what we just read. Srila Prabhupada mentioned about a few things that we can reflect. Srila Prabhupada mentioned about Saligram Shila worship. So Saligram Shila, this Saligram Shila, Prabhupada mentioned given by Sampat. He actually visited Srila Prabhupada, and he came from the Brahmana family. So for Brahmana, they say, what are we going to give a Swami a gift? They can't give. Of course, they think Swamis don't like money, so they sometimes, not every time they will give money. Swamis probably say, no, this is Maya. So in this instance, he brought the Shaligram Shila and gave Prabhupada. Then Shaligram Shila, the Brahman, they worship Shaligram. There are many Shilas that we know. And then now it's become a fashion that devotees just go collect Shilas and bring home. Which is be careful. Then things go wrong. While things do not work out, some drama start at home, and things like that. You wonder how it all is happening. So this specific the Shila that Prabhupada is mentioning here, that given to Pradumna Prabhu, is the Shila of Narayan or Vishnu, and also Krishna Shila. The Shila is, and these Shilas are found in Godavari river, and also the river called Narayani. Narayani is Lakshmi Devi. It can never be separated. So the river, also called Narayani, and the Shilas inside that river of Godavari is the Narayan. So you got to worship the Shila with Lakshmi Narayan, Sitaram, Radha Krishna. All Vishnu Tattvas should be worshipped together. In that way, any type of worship of Vishnu Tattva, you can get liberation. So we are not so fanatical that, you want to worship Radha Krishna. We say Radha Krishna is a Parambita Parameshwar, Supreme Person of Godhead, but also the other deities, the Lakshmi Narayan, Sitaram, Lakshman, Sitaram, and all this Vishnu Tattva category of deities you can worship, and you can get liberations in that way. But this specific Shila referring here is Vishnu or Narayan Shila. And then Prabhupada later on will mention how he will speak later on how important to be very careful while worshipping Shilas. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned about his father. He was reflecting how the father was praying. So the most of our Indian family, which I'm coming from also, they want doctors, lawyers, and all of that. If you're not a doctor, a lawyer, then it's then I had conversation many times with family talks, and when they hear, oh, you're not a doctor, a lawyer, then it's not you're not high class. You're not there. And this is a different way of thinking in material way, that when Vaishnavas, no harm you become a lawyer as a devotee, or you become a doctor. We don't discourage it. That is all depend on the tendency of the child, what they want to put the mind on something. Let them do it, and then don't force them, because if I didn't become a doctor, my desire for my child to become a doctor, and you put them in a situation when they want to become maybe lawyer, maybe it's, philosophy or whatever, or then in that way, so the parent want to live the dream through the children. So they want children to achieve things that they didn't achieve, which is not right, which is not justified. Really, it's not fair for the child to put in a spot like that. But of course, the parent they want the best for the children. So I'm not against one becoming lawyer, doctors, professors, teachers, but like of course, the tendency of the child to see they can take that occupation, and then nowadays you have to have a job, and you can't be unemployed and get in an occupation that, according to, there's no job for that specific occupation that you spend years to acquire qualification, and you don't get a job. So we have to be smart, right? So just Srila Prabhupada mentioned about Guru Mohan Day, his father, how he would pray, devotees coming and pray, to his home, and he would say, please bless my child to become a devotee. When I joined, my family wanted to sue ISKCON, take ISKCON to court. They didn't want me to take to Krishna consciousness and all this and so anyway, the Lord Krishna was merciful that my parents became devotees within 6 months. So that's maybe another time. The Lord, very mysterious way that things changed. As we expressed our appreciation, Prabhupada features softened with natural humility and affection. That is a fact. I got good father and good spiritual master. Gargamuni contrasted that with our fortune we have gotten a bad father, but now we have spiritual master, referring to Srila Prabhupada. But Prabhupada didn't agree. No bad father, unless a good father, son cannot be good. Yata yoni yata bijam. He added that his father had never chastised him. Can you imagine? Never chastised him. Okay. I got hiding. So what a bit of chastising. So, but we accepted it. I accepted it to get hiding that way. So. But never raise hand on the parents. I never raised my voice at my parents, like that. And then later, my mother became my Shiksha Guru. Like she actually gave me Krishna consciousness and gave me. It's amazing. Not a devotee, but gave me. So we are blessed in that way. So we count our blessing and see how. Because I've been merciful to each and every one. We have that realization how. As we express our appreciation, right? And Srila Prabhupada speak about bijam, the seed. And there's rules. There's Prabhupada also, he said a lot of things, how the brahmachari take the Griya ashram. Then you a good brahmachari become a good grihastha, A rascal became a bad grihastha. Then you're only going to be chaos. Yeah? And then it happened. I was in management for some time. We see tendency of devotees, the mood, and the tendency of the girls and the boy that say, hey, they should get married. And it worked. That same tendency, same, so like that. But the Prabhupada did mention about how a grihastha, when they want a brahmachari become a grihastha, and a good training, it was like that. Bhaktivedanta College is doing it, that you train a brahmachari, educate them properly. Then later on, when you take grihasthasam, you become a grihastha brahmachari. You're a grihastha, but the same you're a brahmachari. How come? Because you have rules and regulations that you follow. And Srila Prabhupada didn't like a brahmachari become a grihastha, and grihastha want to become a father, a parent, they want to become parents, then they have a child. Prabhupada said, you chant 50 rounds. Each one chant 50 rounds and do a proper samskar so that you can bring Krishna conscious children in that way. So they do samskar and chant 50 rounds. Each one should chant 50 rounds, and then after that, you purify yourself in that way. That's a minimum requirement. So many samskar that you have to do. Key there. So you do that. There's no harm. Chant 50 rounds. It's okay. You do your 50 rounds, and when you finish, you're not interested to have a family after that. You become so purified. But anyway, it's a joke. But it is like that. The whole intention is to make you more spiritual. All right. All right. I thought I remember him saying that his mother was always very strict, and I mentioned this. Srila Prabhupada smiled because he was very lenient, so mother had to be a little strict for my education. So that we learned a lesson here. The parents, one is the fiery, other one must be cool. One is cool, and one chastised, and one they cool the situation a little bit, and you have the children grow nicely, And then your father is fiery or mother fiery, and then you also add to it more fuel, and then children say, the way I'm going to turn. So the whole idea is to have your children to be so friendly with you, a good friend, a good friend. They can tell you anything, Even if you're seeing one boy, you see a girl or whatever it is, then you can go to your parents and talk. This is whatever. It become your friend, And it's very, very, it's important in that way that we have that opening. We have that. You can come to me anytime. It happened. I don't want to scare you all. There was a situation when one of my person I knew. They would have this private room that teenager would say keep out and on the door and this and that. That's this place there. Okay, that's give them the space, and at the same time, but as a parent, you got the right to go and check the room time to time. So it happened. This person actually committed suicide. The girl, and then later on, they found a suicide note in a drawer. All the difficulty that person had. So imagine how important it is that as a parent you take responsibility, not give them only education, give them money, give them all of that, but you have to other parent also they give them all the privacy, all this. But as a parent, it's your duty to go and check. If the child telling you you're going to go to library, you say, "Oh, you're going to library for books." Oh, my child is so this thing, and take it, divert and go somewhere else and do something. And you've been told that you're going to library, and you take it for granted. Oh, going for library is good. It's better than going to places, movie casinos, and all this places. But you got to check. And what kind of book the person is studying? One book you're studying, or you bring a book home that you learn how to rob a bank or something, for example. You're going to library is a good thing, but what book you're studying? So you'll be helping you. That's why we're placing religious book in all the libraries now. Different places that you can access. You go to book, you see, you go for the other book, you see your eyes going, you grab a Bhagavad Gita there and you study. So very important that your parent, your responsibility is more than see to the material needs, and is for the safety and everything is so important. As the meeting broke up and everyone filed out, and Prabhupada finalized Pradyumna's new duty with him. He told him to buy a small Shingasan and a Panchapatra water pot and some fine linen from which he should make a small dhoti and chadar for the Lord. He was to worship him with flower tulsi gopi chandan. He referred him to the painting in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Sri Advaita Acharya was depicted worshipping Shalagram Shila, and told him to follow that example. He instructed Pradyumna, first thing is that when you take Shalagram Seva, wherever you stay, this worship must go on daily. that you cannot stop. One day, if you are sick, your wife will do that. But that half an hour puja must continue, that you must decide. So both of you are initiated. In case you are a little sick, your wife will do, in that platform you have to do it. Seva. Seva shall not be stopped. Gradually, as your son grows, he will also do. So although Pradyumna sometimes complain about Srila Prabhupada sometimes complain about Pradyumna, smarter Brahman's tendencies. He once said that he had saved Pradyumna from becoming a smarter, bogus Brahman. Still, he recognized his good Brahminical qualification and learning and always encouraging him to develop them. Just before we left his room, Srila Prabhupada referred to the newspaper and parliamentary commotion anyway. And Prabhupada says, anyway, now they're feeling the weight. That is a progress. Otherwise, if our movement would have been a trivial things, just not important, that people don't take seriously our ISKCON society. The government and the newspaper, they would not taken care. Now they are feeling that this movement is going to be more and more important all over the world. Srila Prabhupada, in a smart way, he said, you go as a needle and come out as how do you call it, plow. So like that, if you preach also, you must preach in that way. Don't go in a big way and you get really exposed. He said you go in a small way and come. And the Bhakti Maharaj also told me you go in like a needle and come out as a plow. So in that way, because we meant to create intellectuals in our society, not Sudra, Vaishnava, Vaishya, and Kshatriyas. Prabhupada said we meant to create intellectuals. And when he said intellectual, didn't mean like PhD and all of that. But Srila Prabhupada said, but you have to have knowledge that you are not this body, and your duty towards the Lord, Krishna Nitya, Jivara Krishna, Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. So that's our eternal occupational duty, is to become a servant of the Lord. That's a basic knowledge Srila Prabhupada one should have. And then Srila Prabhupada said all the knowledge will be given. So this thing, Prabhupada gave example how Brahma didn't go to school, but he had all this knowledge go into his heart. So if I believe, have the faith that this knowledge will be given to me. Sometimes each and every devotee have experienced. You go preaching Sankirtan, and some answers you never even read in books, but it just comes. And how is that possible? How is that possible that I got the answer? And then you later on you read, you see, you actually you found the answer there. Or then you remember, oh no, I remember I got it in one of the lecture that somewhere I heard it. So how this knowledge is just given, how to, but that's a good thing in association of devotees. Earlier I forgot to mention, Srila Prabhupada mentioned the blitz. The one article. It is very important that we know that. In the beginning of what we read now this morning, Prabhupada mentioned there was an article written that ISKCON is ungodly. So Srila Prabhupada was furious. So he told Gopal Krishna Maharaj that, what, you have to write, we have to reply, and they have to hear from us that to have this impression about ISKCON is ungodly, that we have to rectify and to them that ISKCON is a top, they say, it's a cult with ungodly people and this and that, they don't believe. So they wrote, and actually it was proven that Srila Prabhupada's movement is authentic. That he is, and Srila Prabhupada kept it like that. So that's why when the society were called, different name devotee suggested. Srila Prabhupada came. Someone saying, God conscious or Krishna. Prabhupada said, no. Call it. Don't call it a religion, but call it a society. That's how Prabhupada called it a society. A society, any class of people can come. So that's why Prabhupada made it a society. And not like Prabhupada always say that there are so many Babajis, they open their own centers, temples, the name after them. And Srila Prabhupada didn't do that. Yeah. Okay. Jabaraka Swami had a final darshan of His Divine Grace this evening before departing back to Calcutta, along with Gargamuni Maharaj. He heard from Srila Prabhupada the proactive stance of he is taking against the false propaganda. Prabhupada informed them of a letter he is writing to Mr. Channa Reddy, one of the state governors. I'm writing one letter to the governor that I worked hard. I print my books and they are selling. And if I bring the money to construct temple, why people are envious? That's envious is just a catalyst of false ego. So whatever there's envy, the false ego is working. We can experience that anywhere. Even sometimes, unfortunately, among devotees, sometimes neophyte devotees, they tend to, you become envious. That this false ego is working. The person is become, controlled by the ego. Then they tend to become envious of the next person. If we have the ego that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentioned a few times, why I always forget how insignificant I am. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur made a statement. Why we always forget how insignificant we are. And then if we always remember how insignificant we are, we never become envious of another person. That we are very small and tiny. Imagine a tiny person in this body, in a matchbox, and imagine demigods looking at us. That was small, tiny ants and tiny, insignificant that we are. So is that? So Prabhupada mentioned again about how there's always people envious, but what is Prabhupada said, what is the wrong there? Rather, I should be encouraged that I am bringing so much money in India, foreign exchange, by my very, very hard labor. So why they are envious? See, if people go to holy places, Mayapur, you go to Mayapur, you go to Vrindavan, even Bombay. So if devotee like to go to Loi Bazaar and do some shopping and all this thing. If you meet the shopkeepers, all the shop owners, they will tell you about Srila Prabhupada, how grateful they are. They are not practicing Krishna consciousness, but they're grateful. It's a Prabhupada brought business here. That we can, Srila Prabhupada make it, the place booming like that. And Srila Prabhupada, they are grateful to Srila Prabhupada. The Prabhupada, so many people benefited out of Srila Prabhupada's progress. The devotees, Vaishnavas, benefited out of spirituality, made progress, know actually what spiritual life is, and they made progress and they achieved the goal. And the business people also achieved the goal by become wealthy, and they have Prabhupada's deities in there. You see ISKCON thing, which devotee didn't go and install. They did themselves. They placed those deities. They placed Prabhupada deities, pictures of ISKCON calendar. You see on the shops. And when I speak to them, they say, "No, we are grateful to Srila Prabhupada." That how Prabhupada did. He didn't do only for, he was fancy, or you have to become a Vaishnava, become a devotee. He wanted people to become favorable toward ISKCON. And then, Adoshrata tata sadhu sangha atat bhajana kriyato niviti shat tato nishta bhava. But you say Shraddha is the beginning of spiritual life. But in fact, Shraddha is not the beginning of spiritual life. It is the good regards. The good regards. If he said Shraddha faith bring you to association of devotees, but how can I have faith if the devotee is not behaving properly? I don't like the person. Will I have faith? No. So devotees, the way they present themselves is so important that people get attracted to them, become friends with them. Then you have that faith in that Vaishnava. Okay, this is a good person. I want to do what this person is doing. If Prabhu, you have to chant one round. They say, okay, if you're telling me, I'll chant. So like that, we have the good regards to the person. That's the time you get faith. And then this way you cultivate it in association of devotees. So it's so important that Prabhupada taught by his own example. Give me time. Quarter past 8. We still got a lot of time. Sorry, I'm punishing you so much. So... Okay. All right. Gargamuni Maharaj said he felt it was difficult for them to believe that a sadhu could possess so much money from selling books. Srila Prabhupada would say, my ancestors, my father was selling books, I was selling books, and you should be selling books. So we whole, the whole network of selling books. Yeah. Quote, that may be beyond their dream, Prabhupada said, but I am not a so-called sadhu. I am trying to execute the orders of my Guru Maharaj, predecessors. I am not a so-called sadhu. Taking a saffron robe, begging for fulfilling the belly. So they have to accept you as an international leader, Gargamuni told Prabhupada. Quote, Srila Prabhupada says, response, I must be international leader. Prabhupada agreed. As a matter of fact, adding that such huge sale of a single person's book, especially philosophical and religious work, was unique in history. He laughed and said that the public generally considers such literature untouchable. Thus, his feat, F-E-A-T, is even more remarkable. Observing that the Mayavadi Vivekananda produced only one small booklet, thus spake that the two of his own leading god brothers, not just Bon, this is another Bon Maharaj. Bon and Tirtha Maharaj have not been able to produce any substantial literature. Prabhupada said they were challas. Chal in Hindi? Chal means bluffers, bluff people, trick. So who make a show but have no real asset. What is that? Bon Maharaj Institute for Indian Culture and Philosophy, but where is your book? Srila Prabhupada asking. So Srila Prabhupada is boasting a little bit. So the good thing is, Prabhupada mentioned here that Vivekananda, he became very rich. He mostly spent his time in the West, and then he produced a book called Raja Yoga. So Prabhupada mentioned here one book. He didn't mention exactly, but it's a book called Raja Yoga. It's all about yoga. And the yoga that Western people, they like yoga. Yoga. You can do your nonsense and do yoga, and then that there are gods, and then there are many gods, and then I'm God and you are God, but you don't realize it now. But later on, you find out you are God as well, and you do yoga and you float. You float in the air, and like that. So people like yoga, and yoga nowadays, it became for keep your body fit, and nothing wrong with that. But also, yoga is to linked with the Supreme Personality of God and the absolute truth. And then one can do yoga for physical fitness. Mustn't forget Bhakti Yoga, which is you do your other yogas. Bring your kundalini high, and and all of that. But you can also do bhakti yoga. Add bhakti yoga. This way you get full benefit of the yoga system. Yoga. So the Srila Prabhupada was saying that. So you see, this Transcendental Diary, it was printed after Prabhupada left, right? So this is very confidential. It's not confidential anymore. But diary is meant to be confidential. It's not supposed to be read in public. Yeah. So that's why this kind of literature, we don't read them in a public, like Sunday feasts, Sunday programs, big gathering, because they won't understand. In Prabhupada's mood, a Vaishnava should understand that Srila Prabhupada not been offensive. He's been truthful, and Srila Prabhupada, he may be speaking in that way, but he was very respectful. And Prabhupada was respectful to any other cult would come. And Prabhupada, they see Prabhupada, would see them, Prabhupada would call them and give them very special attention. And he was sending disciples to take care of them when you see a new guest coming in, another cult, another ashram. All the Prabhupada mentions things like that. He spoke about what progress they made, what book they printed. Srila Prabhupada, but he was respectful. And he said, okay, respect his God brothers, all of that. And then we don't have to be offensive. So in this way, we can also understand that in our ashram also, if happen a devotee, we little bit off track or, divert a little bit. And then we as a Vaishnava, we should help, keep our friendship and attract the person in that way. They have everybody fighting the demons, right? Everybody fighting the demons. You're fighting yours, I'm fighting mine. You don't know how big the demon is for the other one. So we don't know. We don't try to judge a person. Before you use the term bloop. Bloop means you fall. When you throw people in a water and you make bloop like that. When a devotee leave his con, we call him he blooped. I mean he left. So we were very, very careful. Also Prabhupada never felt ill of other people. He didn't mean that. But he's very confidential that he is speaking out his heart, and his diaries have been recorded. So all of that's about his feelings. Prabhupada, if you read this Prabhupada Nectar, it's a small booklet like that. It's a red one. I don't know. Anyone got? Maharaji got it. I still enjoy that book, and then I got those copies. His Prabhupada tell a lot of jokes there. And he speak about a lot of other things. You see how Prabhupada's mood is like a child sometimes. Srila Prabhupada speaks in that way. It's amazing, So Prabhupada can be very, very strict. It can be very soft, like a rose petal. So he was sharply critical of Tirtha Maharaj for using a picture of himself in his book with an effulgence around his head. All right? Gargamuni said that in all the temples, Tirtha managed all the acharyas' picture. Yeah, they are displayed there, the pictures, the acharyas. But only his picture has this an effulgence, right? Around his head. Gargamuni said that, right. Srila Prabhupada was quite disgusted. And he says, such a rascal, he has given Prabhupada's picture, referring to Bhaktisiddhanta, Prabhupada's picture was no effulgence, but his picture has effulgence, and he is a rascal. Publicly he is showing that how big rascal is. So Jayapataka Maharaj, very full of humor, noted that his effulgence had to be painted, Srila Prabhupada, on it, and he could not show it by natural means. That's a good one. You remember that one time the gentleman stopped Prabhupada and told him, unknown person, they say, Prabhupada, do you know you're glowing? Do you know you're glowing? And then and all that, those devotees say, how we can't see those glow when we're so close to Srila Prabhupada. So they think immediately how we don't see that glow in Srila Prabhupada. And then that person saw. So that one thing we can learn here, that also to become a devotee, it takes second. You can become a Vaishnava. A second, you can get liberation. So don't think I've been so many years in ISKCON, I'm going back to Godhead, and then I offend, criticize devotees, this and that, and doing all, neglectful to my rounds, principles, and all of that. So this Prabhupada growing. So I have to tell you this one as well, my experience with them. That that glow, devotees get that glow. They do. And then, I don't want to mention name, but there are personality who left, chain, ashram, whatever, sannyasi, whatever, in the past. They had that, we could feel they had that glow. And then that aura, we call it, around a few meters, depend. More advanced, more space you can cover with your purity, And imagine the purity of Srila Prabhupada, that his book is just placed in places, and then people just by touching those books, opening those books, it's changing their lives. That's how powerful Srila Prabhupada's glow, his power, his purity is. Yeah. And I have to tell you that I visited one house. I used to go and it became a very close friend of mine. And every time I go there, just to, because we were friends, so anytime any new books he would take it from me, he would buy me and give me a donation. Just because he was a friend. And he collected the books. He had so much of books, so many books. I filled the shelf in his house. So but he never read this book. He didn't read those books. So his brother was 12 years old at that time, and then about 2 years ago he actually messaged me. And he is now, I think, 36 years, around that. So I also have to share that with you, how powerful the purity of Srila Prabhupada, we're not looking for glow and this and that. We're looking at the purity of to what extent Prabhupada can extend his power, And Prabhupada said, book is a basis, but purity is a force, Purity is the force. Prabhupada in his book, Bhagavad Gita, says, as it is. He didn't change anything. And his purport is all his devotion is ecstasies. Prabhupada. So this boy was 12 years old and he was 36. He messaged me, Srila Prabhupada. And then he messaged me, he told me, Prabhu, I am so-and-so, you may not know me. I was 12 years old. He used to come to my home. He said, I read all the books that you gave my brother. And that what brought me to Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki. So he said, I read all those books. And then I'm grateful that my brother bought those books for me. So indirectly, he's my guru, So he actually helped me in my spiritual life. And that devotee is now one of the heads in our ISKCON society. And then he is actually acquiring the property in Mauritius and signed them on ISKCON's name. All the property that people gave and didn't have a proper, and having the same problem here in South Africa and other places as well, that property was given but not on ISKCON's name. That's now there are legal body that's been put together that to acquire those property and put them in. So he is one of them. And he is in newspaper all the time. He's a big person. I saw his article. And then he's been in politics as well. Not really politics, but in one of the leaders in the ministry and all that. He is very well recognized. So I was very pleased. I was very, that he's doing so much. But I expected his brother to be, I was hoping. But that was Krishna's plan. So he actually, and then his brother is very favorable. And then last time I visited Mauritius and we had lunch together and he brought his brother. And he said, and we are very good friends still. See that? I'm talking about aura, and then I say, everybody, the devotee get that. You may be thinking, oh, this person is new. You get that, this power that invested by Srila Prabhupada, the Acharyas, and the Lord, and the mercy of Radharani, and so we get this power. And then I remember how to share the video. I was doing Sankirtan, and then this policeman, he stopped me. I was worried what I was walking. They give me a speed ticket or something. So he stopped me, and then I was concerned what's going on. And I was doing Sankirtan. I said, wait, no, never mind. This weekend I'll do some Sankirtan. He stopped me. He said, do you know you're glowing? And then I said, then I remember Prabhupada was glowing. Yeah. But he didn't know that morning I dyed my clothes saffron, dark saffron. So that was glowing. In fact, I know myself because I used to dye my own clothes, nice, specific color. It has to be not too dark, but it's really, really matching. Kurta and dhoti should be same color. So I remember, but I know myself that I dye my clothes, that's the one, it's very shiny. That's what's glowing, not me. So. And then I said, you know what? Maybe that's Krishna's plan, to make him come and speak to me. So he said, no, come to the station. I said, we've gone to the station. Just not far away, about 200 meters from there. He said, come to the station. I want to talk to you. Yeah. So I went to the station and we spoke. And he took all the books from me. And then, he took the books from me. And then I said, I'm thinking it's not enough. If I go, he lose contact. And all this. I said it's wise to make him sign a member, make him a member, that we can send him magazines regularly. So I signed him a BDG subscriber. I always had this. Even here, when I was doing DT, I would take a walk down the street. I used to sign a lot of BDG subscribers down the road. And they surprisingly, they never been to the temple. There's 2 roads away. And then no devotee came to the house too. They said, you're the first devotee. And it's just 2 roads away. Yeah? And then I went there. So this person, I said, no, best is to, just make him a BDG subscriber, just so we can send a magazine. And they signed, and he was happy to sign. They said it was small contribution every month. So it's like that. Okay, it's 8:30. I don't know if I'm meant to finish the chapter, but I feel I shouldn't be rushing. But maybe devotee can must stop 8:30 or 8:30. So I stopped here. You will never forget the effulgence I spoke about. Gargamuni said that in all the temple, Tita Maharaj manages all the other acharyas' pictures are displayed, but only his picture has an effulgence. All right. Any comments? Anything I said? You need to elaborate, or anyone want to add something? Any question? Is it good? Good. We interact a little bit, and you can share some of your experience. Just relevant to what we spoke this morning. It would be nice. I know each and every one have got something to share. That Sripad mentioned about books. Maybe you can, at least 1 or 2, can tell us one pastime about you interacted with someone about book. Maraji, you're a good preacher, so maybe we can hear something. Anyone? Anytime you got interacted with someone, Maraji? Anyone? You go Sankirtan, right? Prabhu, you? Yourself. Please share something, but just one relating your Sankirtan experience, interaction with somebody. It'd be nice if we hear something, just to, a nice topping to this address this morning.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, just maybe 3 years ago, and I serve in a temple in the US as a temple tour guide, and I meet tourists and guests that come every day. So one day there was a young Indian man sitting down, and I just finished a little tour and I went to speak to him. And he's actually an American. His parents came from India about 20 or 30 years ago. And so I began to speak to him, and he came to that state to study, to become a doctor. So he's a student, and he decided to come to the temple. And so he didn't want a tour, or he didn't have any questions. So I just suggested you take this book, The Science of Self-Realization. It's an easy introductory book to read, book on comparative religion, and you'll understand our philosophy. And he took the book and he went back to his campus. And also invited him for the Sunday Love Feast program. So about a month later, he came for the Sunday Love Feast program. And I saw him, I greeted him. And after Prasadam, he came up and he told me, "Thank you so much for the book that you've given me. And I've read the first 2 articles, and I'm waiting to read the next one. Each time it's getting better." So this is how wonderful Prabhupada's books are. And that's one very nice experience.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I have to tell you, I have a brother. We are 5 brothers, but not 5 Pandavas now. That's 5 rascals. So 5 brothers. So the youngest one is in Dubai. So he became Christian. He married a Christian, and so then one day he told me, "You know what? I know Srila Prabhupada." I said, "How you know Srila Prabhupada?" He said, no, I read his book. I said, but which book you read? He said, I read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. You know, there's a small version of, the small one, the compact, the everything. And then he told me, he's not an ordinary man. He said, he's not an ordinary man. He said, to achieve so much in a short period of time and his age, hats off, Srila Prabhupada. I said, see, I couldn't preach to him. I never dare to, to preach to him and this and that. And then I didn't speak Krishna consciousness about. But I didn't give him the book. He found the book somewhere. One devotee distributed and he bought it. And he read the whole book. He said, I finished the book in 2 days. Something like that. 2 days or 1 week, he told me. It is like, when I read the book, I didn't want to. It's like, you know what? It was like watching a movie, I don't watch a movie, I'm talking about a movie. But anyway, I'm saying, it's like so narrated so beautifully that it's amazing. And for him to come and tell me, and it's really, really, you see the magic of book, it's really Prabhupada's invested everything in his book. Yeah? That which society is still running so strong without the Acharya being around physically and still going strong. Yeah? And Srila Prabhupada in one of his lectures, he said, my Guru Maharaj gave me instruction to print books and go and preach in the West. But he's addressing the Western devotees. He said, but he was not physically present to help me. He was not. He only instructed me. But they said, but you helped me, boys and girls. You have helped me. My Guru Maharaj, I expanded, in new people, in new forms to help me. Srila Prabhupada said, I'm grateful to you, all of you, to assist me to fulfill the desire of my spiritual master. He said like my spiritual master has incarnated, in your people, in you. It's like, so they have, he was not physically present, but he sent you to see his vision, his way of appreciation, each and every one of the Vaishnava, each devotee. So each and every devotee are doing their contribution. They contribute in some ways in their capacity of whatever small, menial way, whatever. But each and every devotee in our ISKCON is important. How we deal with them is so, so important, very, very important. So never break their faith, never make them sad and make them doubt that, have I chose the right path to be in ISKCON? Because the behavior of the devotee think that you are not qualified to be, or you're fallen, you're not there yet, I'm there. That's what causes problem. We appreciate each another, everyone. And let the Prabhupada's book do the magic, Give the book in somebody's hand, let them touch it. They may not like something that you talk, but they may feel the book and touch the book, let Prabhupada do the talking, like that. And I used to do that, and I give the book and I will never take it back. So once they have the book, and they feel that they already got the book, let's take the book. So if you're talking with holding your bag and the book like this, I said, sir, sorry, I need to go. So they're gone. But they got a book in the hand. If you want to go, you want to go with the book. But just give me a donation and a contribution. So there's a way. Let them touch the book and feel the book. The book is not different from the deity, from book Bhagavat and the Lord. Devotee Bhagavat. Devotee also Bhagavat. Prabhupada. Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.